diving a little bit into the Eola-Amity, I think you referred to, like 20 years ago, when the Castels,
Yeah.
were there,
Yeah.
the climate just, it was hard,
Yeah.
right? But, over the last 20 years, there has been some climate change, making it a little bit easier to bring in, a little bit more ripeness and make it growing a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Looking forward, I mean, you're building this huge legacy, right? So in 50 years, like,
Yeah.
are you thinking that far down of like, what is Eola-Amity Hills going to look like with climate change in 50 years?
Yeah, well, it's an excellent question. I think when you talk about the Castiles, they would say, and when they, founded Bethel Heights, if you look at that Eola-Amity Bowl where Anahata and At the Joy is, and where Walter Scott and Xena Crown, and it's in that bowl, and it's protected from the Van Duzer winds because going back 15 years ago, it would have been too cold, to ripen anything that was facing the Van Duzer winds. And so the bowl is kind of protected, and that's why, and it was for years considered a cold climate, growing region, and it still is because we have our built-in air conditioner, the Van Duzer. It's amazing to think that, now, if you think about 15 years and nothing maybe on the west side of the Eola-Amity Hills could ripen, well, now we have sub-AVAs over there, right? We have the Van Duzer AVA on the other side of the 99. Who would have dreamt that? And even when you go up to Yamhill Carlton, the Grand Moraine property, tucked all the way back up in those fingers up into the mountains.
Right.
So it used to be that we used to say, it's got to be, can't face west, and it has to be between 300 and 800 feet, and we had all these parameters on what was proper growing area. And then for sparkling, you want high elevation, because you want the vine to stress a little bit, you want it to ripen, but you got to pick it at low sugars and those different kinds of things. And there are all these parameters. Well, those have kind of gone a little bit out the window. Now we're making wines from 300 feet up to 1,200 feet or more.
Right.
And now we're planting on the west side, of the Eola-Amity Hills because it's warmer. The climate is warm. I talked earlier about the Chardonnay. Chardonnay didn't really ripen here very well. It wasn't a high quality, and it was inconsistent until about 2008 or 9. And then it really kind of got consistent. The quality went through the roof, created that opportunity. And so it's amazing. What's it going to look like in 50 years, to answer your question? I hope, we're not getting into Tempraneos and some Rhone style up here. But, you can see that happening in Southern Oregon, and you can see that moving up into Roseburg. And I really applaud what's going on in Southern Oregon. I mean, I grew up there. I grew up in Grants Pass, and the farm that I grew up on is now vineyards, and we couldn't even dream. It was too wet.
Right.
And now there's vineyards all over that property. So, and you can see the people leaving California. Water's probably going to be worth more than gold here eventually, especially in the agricultural business. And we have that, right? And so you're starting to see people, whether it be the French. We've seen that with the Bollinger family, and we've seen it with the Genots and the Druins and other families, coming into the Willamette Valley because they see that opportunity. But more so, you're seeing those California producers come up because it's beautiful land, the climate is more temperate, and there's opportunity for quality that wasn't there in the past. And so I really think we're still at the early stages. I mean, you think about, the value of the property, it's been going up astronomically, but it's still not even close to anything you're getting in Sonoma. But I think eventually it will. And I think that's why people are getting into it these days.
I would agree.
Yeah.